There's a chicken farmer about 40 miles from a mid-sized town in the rural Midwest. He keeps 100 hens. He sells to 50 families. He charges $8 a dozen. He makes over $4,000 a month in spring and summer, and between $2,500 and $3,000 in the slower months. No farmer's market, no store, no website, no employees. Just 100 birds, 50 people who trust him, and a system simple enough to run in a few hours a day. Down the road, another farmer has the same kind of setup. Pasture-raised hens, beautiful deep orange yolks. Better eggs, honestly, than anything sitting in a grocery store cooler. And she sells them for $5 a dozen behind a folding table on the side of a road, hoping somebody slows down. Some weeks she sells out. Some weeks she drives home with leftover cartons and a pit in her stomach. Same product, completely different outcome. The difference is not the chickens. Let's start with the actual operation, because most of what gets written about small-scale egg farming either inflates the numbers or ignores the math entirely. I'm not going to do that. 100 hens sounds like a lot. It's not. 100 laying hens, well managed, is a one-person operation. The daily routine takes about an hour. Open the coop at sunrise, check water levels, top off feeders, collect eggs, do a quick visual on the flock for anything unusual. That's it. Close the coop at dusk. In the busiest stretch of the week, deep cleaning and restocking, you might spend 3 hours on a Saturday morning. The rest of the time, the chickens are doing what chickens do. He runs a mixed flock on purpose. Most of the birds are Rhode Island Reds and Australorps. These two breeds are workhorses. Rhode Island Reds lay around 200 to 280 eggs per hen per year. Australorps can match that and sometimes beat it. The world record for a single hen in a calendar year belongs to an Australorp. In a realistic backyard or small farm setting, with proper feed, adequate light, and good coop conditions, you can count on 4 to 5 eggs per hen per week across the full flock once you account for molt cycles, winter slowdowns, and the natural variation in any mixed group. 4.5 eggs per hen per week times 100 hens. That's 450 eggs a week. 37 to 38 dozen. That's your production ceiling in a good week during peak season. Mixed in with the Reds and Australorps, he keeps about 15 Americanas. This is the detail most egg sellers completely miss. Americanas lay blue and green eggs. When you open a carton and see brown, cream, white, blue, and green eggs sitting next to each other, that carton doesn't look like something from a warehouse. It looks like something real. Buyers notice, and buyers pay for things that look real. The coop is nothing fancy. He built it himself over 3 weekends using reclaimed lumber and corrugated metal roofing. Total materials ran about $600. Proper ventilation, solid predator protection, 12 nesting boxes for 100 birds. That's the one ratio that matters for nest box piece. At around 8 hens per box, you'll start getting competition and cracked eggs. He runs roughly 1 box per 8 birds and rarely has a problem. The actual costs, what it takes to run this honestly. Here's where most people who write about small-scale chicken farming get vague, because the numbers aren't always flattering if you're trying to sell the dream. I'm going to be straight with you. A laying hen eats about 1/4 pound of feed per day. That's reliable across most breeds and most conditions. 100 hens eat 25 pounds of feed daily. In a month, the flock consumes roughly 750 pounds of feed. A 50-pound bag of quality layer pellets runs $25 to $30 at current prices. That's 15 to 18 bags a month. Feed cost, $375 to $450 a month. Bedding, wood shavings or straw, rotated on a schedule that keeps ammonia down and flock health up. Call it $30 a month for 100 birds. Oyster shell for calcium, diatomaceous earth for mite prevention, occasional supplements, a spare bulb or two, small repairs, another $25. Egg cartons, if you're buying new printed cartons with your farm name on them, run about 25 to 30 cents each. 38 dozen cartons a week, 4 weeks, around $40 a month in cartons. Total monthly operating cost for 100 hens, roughly $470 to $550 a month, depending on feed prices, season, and a few unpredictable small expenses. Call it $500 as your working number. $500 is your cost floor. Everything above it is what you actually made. Write that down because we're going to come back to it when we total the revenue. Pricing. The conversation nobody wants to have $8 a dozen, not 6, not 7, 8. Every time this farmer told someone early on what he was charging, he braced for pushback. A neighbor said he was crazy. Someone at church said people wouldn't pay that. His own wife thought he should start at 6 and see how it went. He charged 8 from day one and has never had an empty subscription list. Here's why $8 is not greedy, it's honest. Pasture-raised eggs at a chain grocery store in the United States right now retail for $7 to $10 a dozen. Those are eggs from hens that technically meet the legal definition of pasture-raised, but in practice may live on farms with thousands of birds, minimal outdoor access, and feed optimized for production volume, not nutrition. The eggs traveled hundreds of miles. They sat in a distribution center. They sat in the store cooler. By the time a customer buys them, those eggs might be 2 to 3 weeks old. This farmer's eggs were collected the day before delivery. The families buying them have met the hens. Some of them have walked through the pasture. They know this man's name. They've watched the chickens follow him around the yard when he goes to collect eggs. That relationship, that freshness, and those colored cartons combined are worth more than what a grocery chain charges for a branded premium product from a stranger. $5 a dozen is what you charge when you're competing. $8 a dozen is what you charge when you understand what you're delivering. There's a financial reality underneath this too. At $5 a dozen, with $500 a month in costs, you need to sell 100 dozen eggs a month just to break even. At $8, you break even at 62 dozen, and every dollar after that is real profit. The price is not just a marketing decision, it's a math decision. The 50 families, how the subscription actually works. 50 families with standing weekly orders. That's the engine. Most families take 1 dozen a week, a few take 2. The average order lands at about 1 1/4 dozen per family per week. 50 families times 1 1/4 dozen times $8 equals $500 a week in egg revenue. 4 weeks gives you roughly $2,000 a month from eggs alone. The subscription removes everything exhausting about selling food. No sitting behind a table hoping someone walks by. No watching the weather forecast and wondering if the market crowd will show up. No driving an hour to sell $60 worth of eggs and calling it a good Saturday. Every Thursday morning, he sends one text to his subscriber group. Saturday delivery coming. Standard orders go out unless I hear otherwise. I also have, and then whatever add-on product he has that week. Most families respond within the day. He packages Friday morning. He delivers Saturday in a 2-hour loop that covers his whole route. By 10 a.m., he's home with an empty truck and a full weekend ahead of him. The relationship changes everything about how people buy. When a customer buys eggs from a stranger at a market, the transaction ends the moment money changes hands. When a subscriber has been getting eggs delivered to their door every Saturday for 14 months, they think twice before canceling over an extra dollar per dozen. They've built a pantry habit around those eggs. Their kids ask if the chickens are doing okay. One family started a group chat with 2 other subscriber families they met at a local potluck after mentioning their egg farmer. That's not a customer relationship. That's a community relationship. Those don't churn the way customer relationships do. His subscribers do turn over, of course. People move, budgets change, life happens. But the average subscriber stays for well over a year. And when one leaves, the waitlist has someone to replace them within a week. The add-ons. Where the other $2,000 comes from $2,000 a month from eggs is solid. It is not $4,000. The rest comes from what he makes and sells to those same 50 families. The first product is fresh egg noodles. He makes them in his kitchen on Wednesday evenings before deliveries. Eggs from his own hens, unbleached flour, a handful of dried herbs from a small garden he keeps near the back door. He rolls the dough, cuts them by hand into wide, flat strips, and packages them in small craft paper bags with a simple hand-stamped label. A bag of noodles sells for $9. His materials cost per bag, eggs, flour, herbs, bag, stamp, runs about $1.50. He makes 40 to 50 bags a week. That generates around $340 to $400 a week. Monthly, roughly $1,500, give or take seasonal variation. That number surprises people. It surprised me when I first worked it out. But think about it. Eggs are worth $8 a dozen raw. Crack those same eggs into flour and herbs and let them dry in flat strips. And suddenly, the value of the eggs you already grew jumps by a factor of 3 or 4. The flour is cheap. The herbs grow themselves. The 45 minutes of Wednesday evening kitchen time is the most profitable labor he does all week. The second product is pickled eggs. Hard-boiled, peeled, packed into wide-mouthed mason jars with a vinegar brine seasoned with garlic, dill, mustard seed, and red pepper flakes. A jar of 6 pickled eggs sells for $9. He produces about 20 jars a week, moves them through his subscriber list and through 3 local diners who found him through his families. Monthly from pickled eggs, around $700. The third product is bagged composted chicken manure. 100 hens produce a serious volume of waste. Left as raw manure, it's a liability. Too hot to put directly on plants, too much to dispose of easily. Composted and aged, it becomes one of the best soil amendments money can buy, and gardeners who grow vegetables understand that. He composted everything in a 3-bin rotation, bagging the finished product in 5-gallon bucket quantities and selling them for $6 a bucket. He moves 40 to 50 buckets a month, mostly to the families who garden, which in his subscriber base of 50 households is roughly 30 of them. Monthly from compost, around $240 to $300. Stack the revenue at a normal month outside of peak season. Eggs, $2,000. Noodles, $1,500. Pickled eggs, $700. Compost, $270. Total, $4,470. Operating cost, $500. Monthly net, roughly $3,970. That's not the $4,000 headline. That's better than the headline. And that's an average month, not peak season. Peak season and the spring kits. In spring, late April through early July, everything runs hotter. Egg production peaks as daylight hours lengthen. Gardeners are active. The farmers' markets are open, and the local economy of people buying local food is running at full speed. He adds one product during this window. Farm breakfast kits. A breakfast kit is a bundle. Half a dozen eggs, a bag of fresh noodles, a small jar of his pickled eggs, and a 1/4 pound of aged compost in a small sealed bag for anyone with a container garden. Everything packaged together in a printed paper bag with a handwritten note about what's fresh that week. It sells for $24. He sells 25 to 30 of these kits a week, on top of standard orders, from late April through the 4th of July. That's $600 to $720 a week in kit revenue during that stretch. Monthly during peak, roughly $2,500 from kits alone, on top of the existing subscription and add-on revenue. Peak months, he nets between $5,000 and $6,000. The headline $4,000 a month is accurate as an annual average. Some months it's $3,200. Some months it's $5,500. Averaged across the year, it lands around $4,000, sometimes a bit above. How he found 50 families without spending a dollar. This is the part of the system that sounds harder than it is. He started by making a list of every person in his life who cooked real food at home. Not restaurants, not bachelors eating sandwiches. Families with kids, households where someone actually stood at a stove most evenings. He came up with 11 names from his immediate circle. Neighbors, a couple from his church, 2 families his wife knew through the school, his own brother's household. He called each of them. Not texted, called, told them what he was doing, described the eggs, told them the price, told them he could deliver on Saturday mornings. 9 of the 11 said yes on the spot, Then he asked each of those 9 for one referral. He was specific. Think of one household, just one, that would appreciate eggs like this delivered to their door. Not a social media post, not a mass ask. One person asked one person each for one name. He went from 9 to 17 families within 2 weeks. He put a hand-painted board at the end of his driveway. Nothing fancy. Plywood, house paint, 2 posts from the lumberyard. Pasture-raised eggs, weekly delivery, call or text. His number. 8 more families came from that sign in the first month. He posted twice in local Facebook community groups. The kind of groups where people discuss neighborhood events and recommend plumbers, not farming groups. He kept it short. I raise 100 pasture-raised chickens a few miles east of town. Fresh eggs and a few simple farm products delivered to your door every Saturday. If you want in, message me. He got 26 responses. He interviewed each one briefly on the phone, prioritizing households on his route and families who seemed like they'd be consistent. He took 15. That put him at 40 families. The last 10 came entirely through word of mouth over the following 2 months. He never posted again. He now keeps a short wait list and fills it as spots open. The real startup. What it costs to begin point-of-lay pullets, hens between 16 and 20 weeks old, close to their first eggs, run $20 to $30 each depending on breed and region. 100 pullets, sourced carefully from a reputable local breeder or hatchery, is $2,000 to $3,000. This is the biggest single upfront cost. Coop construction, built yourself from a mix of new and reclaimed materials with the help of a friend over a long weekend, $500 to $800. Feeders, waterers, nesting boxes, bedding, heat lamp for winter, and a small repair kit, another $200. Total startup, $2,700 to $4,000, depending on how much you can source secondhand and build yourself. At a monthly net of around $4,000, the startup investment pays for itself in the first month at full capacity. Realistically, building to 50 subscribers takes 6 to 10 weeks from a cold start. Plan for 2 to 3 months of ramping up before you hit full income. That's the honest timeline. What kills this system? 2 things kill it: price and reliability. If you charge $5 a dozen because it feels more comfortable than 8, your math breaks and your positioning breaks with it. At $5 a dozen, you are a commodity. You are priced like the shelf at the co-op. People who buy on price will leave for the next person who charges $4.50. That is not the market you want. At $8, you are a relationship. You are priced like something that comes from a person, not a system. People who pay $8 a dozen from someone they know and trust are not going to cancel because someone else charges $7. They're not shopping for a price, they're buying a connection. The second thing that kills it is going short on a delivery, running out of eggs. Telling a subscriber, "We're a little light this week, you get 8 eggs instead of 12. That happens once and the subscriber starts hedging. It happens twice and they start shopping other options. Your reliability is not a bonus feature of this system. It is the product. The eggs are what they receive. Reliability is what they bought. Build the flock to a size where you have consistent surplus. Keep 15 to 20% more production capacity than your subscription requires. If your 50 families need 60 dozen a week, keep capacity for 75. The extra dozen go into your add-on products. Nothing goes to waste. Everything has a home. 100 hens, 50 families, $500 a month to run, $4,000 on average, more in the good months. That is not a corporation. That is not a business plan written in a conference room. That is one person who decided to stop guessing at a commodity price and start selling something with their name on it. The eggs are the same eggs. The families are families that already exist in your county within 20 miles of where you are right now. The add-on products are things that come from animals you already own. The noodles are eggs and flour. The pickled eggs are eggs and vinegar. The compost is something you are already disposing of. Nothing in the system requires you to buy something new, go somewhere you've never been, or learn a skill you don't already have. It requires one decision: to stop selling the way the market tells you to sell and start selling the way that actually makes money. The next video is about how to build that subscriber list from scratch, without a social media following, without a website, without spending anything on advertising. Just the old-fashioned method that has worked in every small town in this country for as long as small towns have existed. I'll see you there. End of script.